this is Kevin with Nintendad, talking to you about Paper Mario, the Origami King. Unless you've been living under a rock for the last few weeks and months, you'd know that Paper Mario, the Origami King, is the newest iteration in the surprisingly divisive line of Paper Mario games. You might have heard some things, or even felt some very powerful things of your own about this game until now. In fact, some of you out there might have decided to steer clear of this game for what you know that it isn't. I spent the last week blazing through this game to make sure that I could give you a fair understanding of just what this game is, and why I think you should give it a fair shot. Trust me, it's worth the next few minutes. Now, in Paper Mario, the Origami King, we have Mario and Luigi heading to Peach's castle to take part in the Origami Festival. Mario and Luigi arrive only to find the town deserted and decide to do some investigating. They're greeted by a creepy origami version of Peach who seems to be possessed by some unseen evil. After being thrown in the dungeon, Mario meets Olivia, the sister to the titular Origami King, Ollie. Olivia shows you that Ollie's in the process of converting the flat paper world around you into a new folded kingdom, which he, Ollie, will rule. Ollie then summons 5 massive streamers from different corners of the world to rip Peach's castle out of the ground, placing it on a nearby volcano, as Mario and cohorts run for their very lives to try to survive to see another day. Mario and a few friends he meets on the way are tasked with releasing the streamers, saving Peach, and the very kingdom they live in. All in all, it's pretty basic RPG fare. You know, hero finds a certain number of MacGuffins and saves the world. Yada yada yada. We've been here before. What makes this game shine is what you do on the way to those big plot points or bosses or what have you. In this case, there is plenty to do. In each area there are collectibles you can find, and kind of makes each area a treasure hunt. These things you can find are hidden question blocks, what they call not-so-bottomless holes, which you can fill with confetti, treasure chests, complete with collectible statues inside of them, and toads. There are tons of each of these things everywhere you go. Each collectible you find also corresponds to unlockables that you can find inside of the Toad Town Museum. So as you're happily wandering around finding secrets, you're also unlocking extras as you head back to town. It's a pretty great cycle. But enough about all that extra stuff. Let's talk about what you've probably heard the most stuff about. The combat. See, I was on the fence about this for a long time when I saw the trailers. In Origami King, fights are on this circular arena that kind of looks like a dartboard. Each battle starts with the enemies scattered about this field, and your job is to rotate or slide the pieces of this arena so your enemies are either in a straight line or a 2x2 square. By successfully arranging them, or solving the puzzle as the game calls it, you're granted a strength boost, and you can easily smack the pulp out of your folded foes. The battles can get a little tedious over time, but the game very kindly gives you the ability to skip those fights by smacking your enemies on the playing field, as you progress further in the story. Now, each completed fight gives Mario what seems like a hilarious amount of coins afterwards, anywhere from 200 to 2,000 coins, depending on the difficulty and other factors. But you'll find as you play more and more, you'll be using these coins. A lot. See, let's go back to those toads. When you rescue all those toads along your journey, they don't just run home or go about their business. No, they sit in the bleachers and watch the show every time you get into battle. Now, let's say that I'm staring down a really gnarly looking puzzle that I immediately look at and just think, I don't want any part of this. I can hold down the Y button and throw a fat stack of coins to those toads in the grandstands, and they will run out and they will solve that puzzle for me. Sometimes they'll even throw health or weapons. It's a pretty great thing to remember as you look at this enormous pile of money you have as the game goes on. Does that kind of make it pay to win? Yes, and I think I love it. Now, the regular fights are okay, but the boss fights are entirely different and add this unique, difficult challenge and some very serious thinking to solve. Now, the toads won't solve these puzzles for you. They'll heal you, they'll give you nice items, but they won't do anything with those rings to solve it. So you have to use your brain. The bosses will actively alter the rings of the battlefield to make things even more complicated, anywhere from setting pieces on fire to erasing things that you need to solve the puzzle. I can tell you, these are some of the greatest fights in the game, and I loved every single one of them. Also, these fights are surprisingly brutal when Mario finishes them with one of his signature thousand-fold arms techniques. It's something you just have to see because, wow. Lastly, something you need to know is that this game is absolutely, undoubtedly, one of the most well-written games I have ever played. There are so many zingers, references, and absolutely hilarious lines in this game. There are moments that had me reeling. I think I probably have 75 screenshots of just hilarious lines in this game. Did you know there's no less than 5 dance scenes in this game? Did you know that you will never see them coming when they do? Now, on the flip side, there are scenes in this game that are powerful and hurt my heart in a way I was not expecting in a game that is rated E for everyone. I did not expect a Mario game to give me feelings, and powerful ones at that. This game is a really cool juxtaposition between humor and this eerie, looming dread that makes you want to keep exploring more of what's to see next. It's something you really need to experience for yourself. For everything else you need to know about this game, just know this. Origami King is absolutely beautiful. Every new area has its own unique vibe and color scheme that really makes it stick out. The controls are great and responsive. I never had any problems with them. And it plays flawlessly however you want to. The music slaps. Oh my gosh, it is so good. This is a quality game, and I really had a great time exploring it. Now, gotta give the game credit where it's due, but I also gotta call things out as they happen. Partners felt really tacked on in fights. I mean, they're totally fine in the adventuring parts of the game, but they are just north of useless in the fights. It's really kind of a missed opportunity. Combat items like the tail and fire and ice flowers are more of a hassle to use than just smacking an enemy with your weapons. Besides the occasional mushroom to heal, I hardly use them. Also, the first about area and a half of the game are really kind of a slog. I mean, they're okay, but they're not really engaging. There's some pretty decent backtracking. It's not a great first impression. I've had a lot of friends playing the game that lost interest by about this point, but I promise you, after you clear the second streamer, this game really gets going. Should you play this game? Yes. Very yes. Is Paper Mario the Origami King worth your time? Absolutely. Is this the greatest Paper Mario game? No. But I will say it's my second place. All in all, this was a really great time. Am I sad it's not in the same vein as the Thousand Year Door? Sure. Will we one day get that kind of game? Probably not. If I wanted that, I'd play Bug Fables. You should check out my review. While this is certainly not the game that I expected or even really asked for, it ended up being an absolutely fabulous experience that I'll probably play a few more times this year, and I recommend you probably do too. I mean, at least until Nintendo tells us what the heck they're up to.